bringing the latest in health and wellness so you can get to the other things that matter. Here's your host, Karl Sterling.
It's another beautiful day. I'm going to add some perspective to that. It's a beautiful day for me because, once again, by the grace of God, I woke up. The day will come where I don't wake up, and I'm so glad that every day so far I wake up. You know, we talk a lot about movement, exercise, or lack of. We talk about perspective. This morning I woke up to about 6 inches of new snow. I mean, okay, in my heart of hearts, I'm going to tell you I'm kind of done with it. But I can't complain about it. Here's why. I could move if I wanted to move somewhere where there is no snow. And I choose not to move, so I choose to live here, so I can't do anything about the weather. So I have to shift my perspective on how I deal with the new snow. So I got up thinking for an instant, okay, there's new snow. I'm going to have to brush off my car. I'm going to have to shovel, snow blow. But you know what? I woke up today. That's a really good start to my day. And I hope that when you wake up, you feel it's a good start to your day. So I've got this snow to deal with. Of course, I have to go to the coffee maker and make coffee first. And then while it's brewing, I go move snow. Here's how I see it personally. And I implore you to maybe take a look at this in your own mind, in your own life, and gain a little perspective on a couple things. I hope that moving your body is, first of all, something you can do. Because if you can do it, I hope you don't think of it as a chore. I hope you think of it as a gift. And the ability to move your body is also a blessing. I look at it as an opportunity. I got 15 minutes of exercise moving snow this morning with a shovel. No snow blower. That's later. A huge driveway. So this is an opportunity. Yeah, it's not my favorite way to exercise, but I get to do it. If I didn't have the snow, I wouldn't have done any exercise other than my normal morning stretches, which I did do before I moved the snow. This is a gift. Okay, so let's put this into perspective. I've said it before, I'll say it again. We have countless people who schlep their bodies from the vehicles into my clinic. They barely make it. Guess what they're out doing today? I can tell you that half of them are out moving snow too, because although they can barely move their bodies, they're doing it because they can. I used to be the kind of person who didn't look at anything as an opportunity. I looked at it as a pain in the rear end, a chore, a task, an inconvenience. That's a mindset, folks. So what I would implore you to try and adopt, even if it's just one thing today, and maybe it has to do with snow, of course, be safe and all that stuff. Don't fall down, don't hurt your back, don't have a heart attack. If you can't do it, you can't do it. But if you can do it, anything, do it. You woke up. If you can move your body, move it. Do stuff. It's a blessing. It is an opportunity. It's a gift to be able to move. This is my opinion. It doesn't mean I'm right. This is how I look at it because I choose this. And I choose to live here, so I'm going to be choosing snow. With that said, I've really been in a philosophical mood lately. So if you can't tell, well, now you're going to get doses of that today. I want to say also I'm glad to be in the studio doing this live. We have Kyla as our producer. Thank you, Kyla. Elizabeth is here. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
That's good.
Very well. And we have a very special guest, someone I've known for a couple of years, so I think it's one of the most amazing human beings on the planet from Tel Aviv, Israel. I want to welcome my friend, Dee Katz. How are you, Dee?
I am so moved by everything you said, and what a way to open this up. Thank you so much for having me. That was a wow moment for me.
Oh, man, you're too nice. Thank you. Dee, whenever I'm around you, I get thinking about so many things. Whenever we talk, it's like, oh man, I have all these like realizations, perspective shifts. So I want to thank you for all you do because you inspire so many people, and I'm one of them. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have a brand. It's called Bodyholic. I
Hmm.
love the name of it. And you do so much to help people. Today, I know we emailed about this. One of the things we're going to bob and weave. This is all organic, man. We have nothing scripted here. All we know, folks, is we decided we're going to talk to some degree about behaviors. I'll just talk about myself for a minute. Everybody who listens knows this. And if you're new to the show, thank you for listening. When I used to weigh at my top weight 289 pounds, I'm 6'2", so I should never weigh that much, and had all kinds of on the really health issues, and got a lecture from my doctor, hired a trainer, went into debt. A year later, 70 pounds lighter, decided I wanted to get into this business. I was the king of giving up, the king of starting, never sticking with it, the king of making excuses. Well, I found my way of dealing with and moving forward and attaining health and keeping, actually getting healthier. But what is it? What do you find out there, Dee, that is, let's say, what drives us? What actually, maybe what causes us to get off track? You can go anywhere you want with this, but this is a really big challenge for people, and that included me. And I have to fight this almost on a daily basis. Hence the reason for the opening of my show today and what I said. I have the opportunity to move my body, so I choose to. But what do you find out there? What's the biggest challenge in sticking with it?
The I really don't want to plug. I didn't want to plug this, but I just have to because this is my passion. So I wrote a very short book that's really all about maintaining. It's all
Yeah,
about
please plug
maintaining.
away. Please
It's
plug
called
away.
it's called Rip It Up for Good, and it's short to the point, and it's based off on years of research. And I probably could update it at this point, but we have neural pathways in our brain, and habit. Thank goodness, right?
Yeah.
And when we create habits, we basically create like water beds in our brain. So these neural pathways are the habits create the connections, and that we repeat it, and it really is like a waterbed. And what happens is when we stop, the waterbed still exists. So maybe the water isn't flowing, but the waterbed is still exists. So a little slip up is basically like, pouring water down that waterbed and making it alive again, which is why little slip ups are so tricky. So changing habits, it's all tied into that. It's something super, super hard. It's really hard in reality, I mean. And everybody talks about willpower, but it's not only willpower. It's not only willpower. It's about physically, we have something in our brain that resists changing habits.
Yeah. I'm so glad you brought this up. And listeners, I know I love the word neuroplasticity, neural
Hmm.
pathways.
Hmm.
We've talked about it before. We're going to go deep into this today. I can just tell because I know D and I know how it's going to go. I'm so excited. Yeah, this is like we can create new habits. When we create the habits, it's actually our brain is changing. And there's so much more to it. So we have to go to our first break, folks. You're listening to Your Health Matters here on News Radio 570 WSYR, also on 106.9 FM. Kyla is our producer, who is amazing. Elizabeth is my co-host, and D. Katz is my special guest from Tel Aviv, calling in from Tel Aviv. We'll be back after this short break.
Are you ready to strengthen your body, improve your bone density, and take control of your health? Meet biodensity, the revolutionary technology that transforms the way we build strength and fight against bone loss. With just one session a week, biodensity helps you safely apply high levels of force to your bones and muscles, stimulating natural growth and improvement. It's scientifically backed, non-invasive system proven to increase bone density, build type 2 muscle fibers, lower A1C, and reduce fall risks. Whether you're recovering from an injury, managing osteoporosis, or simply looking to maintain a strong, healthy body, biodensity is for you. Best of all, it's quick, efficient, and perfect for people of all fitness levels. Don't let age or health concerns hold you back. Experience the difference biodensity can make in your life. Visit karlsterling.com and go to the sponsors tab to learn more and schedule your session today. That's karlsterling.com. Biodensity, because stronger bones means a stronger you.
All right. I'm going to tell you a little story, friends. It's a story about a lady in Monterrey, Mexico. I want to give you a little perspective shift today. Okay. I'm down there. This is 7 years ago, coming in April. In fact, I remember the date. It was April 17th. I was the keynote speaker at a neurology symposium. Got done. Had a suit and tie on, 90 minutes. I go and I change into my workout clothes because there was a 45-minute workout scheduled. I had no clue what we were going to do. No clue. So I come out, there's 50 plus people waiting to work out with Karl. So I decided to ask the translator, because I needed a translator back then. Ask them what they want to do. Ask them, like, what's their first challenge when they wake up in the day? They open their eyes. What's the first challenge? Well, I asked her to ask, is rolling over in bed a problem? Guess what? About half the hands went up. So you know what? We created a workout called The Floor is Our Friend. Because if you get on the floor, it needs to be your friend because you need to leverage yourself and the floor to get yourself back to safety. God forbid you fall. Okay, so, or you just want to get out of bed. So we got everyone on the floor. We start teaching something that's not rocket science, but sometimes people kind of forget. Like intuitively, you think they would know because babies just do this without thinking. They just pop up from sitting to standing and they go back down. No hands. They just pop up and start running around. I watch this. D, you probably see this with your son, who's 13 months or so, 14 months. Boom, up, gone. Okay, we can't do that, a lot of us. I can't do it. I need to work on it. I can't do it like my grandson does. But anyways, bottom line is I start teaching very methodically how to leverage your body to roll over front to back to front, both directions. I look up in the corner, I see this lady crying, and I knew enough Spanish to go and say, ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo te sientes? How do you feel? How are you? ¿Eres okay? Are you okay? Sí, sí, señor. Yes, I'm.
Mm.
In English, she's saying, yes, I'm okay. Why are you crying? I said, because I'm so happy. Why are you happy? Well, she didn't answer me right then. I found out later that was the first time she rolled over without assistance in 5 years. She had chosen to be bedridden because she didn't believe she could do anything. Guess what? She just ran a marathon, and she's run half marathons. As a matter of fact, when I went back 2 months later, I stayed at her house with her husband and her daughter, and they put me up when I go there, and they're such a beautiful family, and they live next to Mount Topo Chico. We hiked to Mount Topo Chico. She sprinted up. None of us could keep up with her. So here's what happened, folks. It's called hope. This is called hope. and possibility. These are her words, not mine. When you have hope, you regain the ability to do something which could be taken for granted and probably is by a lot of us. That includes me. Not anymore, but it used to be. Holy cow. First of all, I got to wake up today. Then I get to roll over. Oh my gosh. Next thing you know, I'm standing up and moving, and I can go to the bathroom. I can go make coffee. Take it for granted. I really don't take it for granted anymore. So that's just the story. And I want you to think about perspective. And I'm not shaming anyone. I used to be the laziest thug. But you know what? Not anymore. But I have to fight it. Which brings me back to talking with Dee about fighting my inherent laziness, because this is true. I'm inherently fairly lazy, but I got to get over it. And for those out there who aren't moving, and you know you should be, can you? And if you don't, why? With that said, Dee, let's get back to we're Dee Katz, Tel Aviv, a dear friend, talking about neuroplasticity, neural pathways. So what's happening in the brain? We've got these neural pathways that we can actually choose to make new habits. This is going to change our brain. Let's talk more.
Yep. Basically, the whole process of learning just reinforces these pathways and the synaptic connections. So when we repeat something over and over and over again, we create something called automaticity. And sorry?
I got to write that word down. I love that.
And it's really all about, how you wake up in the morning and you brush your teeth first thing. That's because it's automatic. And you know how sometimes you could be driving one place, but then you're just in your thoughts and you end up at home because you actually just took the regular route. And that actually, I think, is the best analogy for the neural pathways. You went the route. Do you know what I mean? Or has that only happened to me?
Or that used to be me going to the liquor store before I stopped drinking. Oops, I wound up there again. No,
Yep,
I'm serious. Yeah.
No. I know. I'm taking it seriously. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is we want to shift from returning to those habits that are harming us to taking one step at a time and just repeating that step that is going to get us healthy or that will promote our well-being, et cetera, and just keep taking another step, and the next day do it again, and the next day do it again. You will create those pathways. And I never said it was easy. And it absolutely is hard. And I think that the number one key is actually having a supportive environment that keeps pushing you through.
That is, I have a couple things I just want to say real quick. First of all, the last thing you said, supportive environment. We had Dr. Terry Walls on the show a couple of times. She talked about this. When we're going to intervene and try to do something new, if we're not surrounded by support, at least to some degree, like a family or a group, household intervention family, is certainly going to be more effective than you're doing it on your own. And then the other thing I'll just say is, last September, my first thing is, I want to go make the espresso, go to the couch, and just do some stuff before I go to work. I started doing, as everybody knows, what I call one of my non-negotiables. I made the espresso. Yes, I bring it to the table by the couch, but I get on the floor. I do my stretches, I do my yoga, I do my core stuff, about 15 minutes, and I don't miss. Because now, although I did want to hit the couch this morning, I knew that I just can't do it, so I just go. It's more automatic now. Like, no, I can't do the couch. In fact, some days I don't think about the couch anymore, and that's where I think I'm making progress.
Yeah.
Where I don't think of going to the couch. I don't even think, oh, I've got to get on the floor and do this. But I get energy from it. So this, for me, this is a good way to start my day. So I can completely rate to the automaticity. Automaticity.
Automaticity. Yeah.
I love that. Oh my gosh, it's a new word. This is cool.
Um, I just want to say something. So you were saying that basically you you were talking about growth and you're making progress when it's automatic and you don't think about the couch. So I'm going to actually say that I think that when you are thinking about the couch and you are resisting it, that is the workout. That is the progress moment, I have to say. You're really putting muscle into it. It's not easy.
So this is really mental muscle. This is
Yeah.
the power of will exercised, meaning choice, maybe, because we do have free will as humans, and we can exercise a lot of different choices many times. But I choose to continue feeling good, and I know when I do this, I feel so much better. So it's really hard sometimes not to
hmm
hit the coach. Yeah.
It's similar to practicing mindfulness. I people all of a sudden say to me like, I'm really bad at this. I'm really bad at meditating, and I immediately say that I don't think that exists. Being really bad at meditating, because anyway, the whole idea is our mind is just the way it is, and our what we have to do is keep bringing it back. If we're focused on our breath in that meditation, so we keep bringing it back to the breath, just like a cute little puppy. You bring it back nice and gently, and again.
Yeah. Well, I love that. So would you say that the possibility exists, or maybe hopefully a probability for me? Let's just talk about me and my not hitting the couch, that maybe some changes in the brain have happened because I'm kind of like wiring myself to hit the floor first.
Right.
So for me, it had to do with, well, I actually saw a really good thing on a show yesterday, where this guy said in the mirror, "It's Monday. Let's see what Monday's got for us and make the most of it." Like, man, I can actually see what any day, any minute, any hour has, try to get the most out of it. And so it's become more of a challenge for me now to, let's not put it off till later or an hour from now, but let's get on it. Um, we have to go to a break in a minute. But before we go to break, when we come back, we will still have DCATs with us because we're barely even scratching the surface of things here. I would love to get into the drivers behind some of these changes because, for me, it just had to do with losing the weight, reversing some conditions I had, and being a better example, and really ultimately not being a burden down the road 20, 30, 40 years. As I always say, whose burden do you want to be? Well, nobody's, if I can help it. So I'm talking too much, but when we come back, I'm going to be quiet. We're going to let Dee tell us things. Well, you're listening to News Radio 570 WSYR. This is Your Health Matters. Elizabeth Bruce is going to say something soon if I ever shut up. We'll be back after this break.
Are you ready to take control of your health and feel your best? At NeuroMotor Training, we specialize in helping you move better, think sharper, and stay independent for life. Our unique programs are designed to reduce your risk of falls, improve movement and mobility, boost memory and cognition, and enhance fine motor and multitasking skills. And here's the best part. We're the only clinic with a program proven to reverse osteoporosis with our state-of-the-art biodensity machine. Imagine stronger bones and a more confident you. At NeuroMotor Training, your health and independence are our top priorities. Visit us at karlsterling.com or call 315-935-7488 to schedule your first session. That's 315-935-7488. Don't wait to take the next step toward a healthier, happier you. NeuroMotor Training, where better health begins.
I got to tell you, I really like that music.
Yeah.
And it just happens to come from the one and only CD I ever did out of about 50 I'm on as a drummer. It's under my own name, and it's called Dream. And you can just listen to it for free if you go to Spotify or YouTube. or you can come by the clinic and pick up a copy because, at this point, I lost so much money on it, it doesn't even matter if we take any money on it. But the theme music is a song called Song for Barry, and features some stellar musicians in Los Angeles. It was a real pleasure to work with them. Folks, I have another thing I'd like to just share with you before we get back with Dee and talk about what drives us. Like, how do we find the drive to start something and stick with it? I want to talk about a little story here, not to diminish or throw anyone under the bus like our physical therapists around here, because we have a lot of good ones, but sadly they're restricted by what insurance tells them they can do. So a lot of them don't get to do too much to help people. We have a farmer who came in a few months ago. He'd gone to 6 weeks of PT, 18 sessions, and he said, I only came here because I just want to learn how to get up off the floor when I fall down in my barn, because he had a lot of trouble getting up. Well, 18 sessions of PT, still couldn't get up off the floor. Why? Insurance said we can only work on this leg first, like this knee, and then we're going to work on that hip next week, and then the other leg, and then the other hip, other knee, other hip. 18 sessions, nada. Here's the problem, folks. Your body doesn't work with only your knee when you're going to get up off the floor, or only your hip. Like, your body works as a whole unit to move you. Your body works in a whole bunch of joints and things to get up off the floor. So you can't just work on your knee or your hip and expect to learn how to get up the floor long story short, he comes in, 10 minutes, he's getting up off the floor. This is not rocket science. And I'm no genius. In fact, I'm not a genius. I'm so far from that. I don't even really come up with much stuff on my own. I learn stuff from smart people and I put together and I use it and I implement it. But it is kind of a no-brainer that if you want to get up off the floor, it takes more than just bending your knee. Okay, so with that said, what did he gain out of it? It's not so much the ability to get up off the floor. It's the fact that he knew how to do it, and now he saw possibility and hope in other areas of movement and life. All these stories have to do with hope. They often have to do with possibility. They have to do with, wow, I can do it. If I can do that, what else can I do? So we're going to bring back now Dee Katz, calling in from Tel Aviv. And Dee, it's so good to have you here. Can you share with us, for those of us having trouble getting moving and sticking with a plan, let's say, how do we dive in? How do we dig in and find our mojo? Like, how can we find something to drive us?
So I have this this thing. I call it the why factor, where you start asking questions, but you literally, the best way to do it is with a pen and paper. So you sit down, you write down why. Let me give this as an example. Why would I want to start working out? Okay. So I answer my question and I say, well, because I want to look good. Okay. Why do you want to look good? Well, I want to look good because I want people around me to respond to me a certain way. I want, why do you want people, right? So you keep asking, and then you might end up coming down to the actual why this is happening, why this is important. Probably one of the answers could possibly be because I want to live a long, healthy, happy life and see my grandchildren, get married. Mm-hmm. When you read something like that, and then you why, and you can't really answer anymore, that's your why factor. And it's not what I want. It's remembering the why all the time, constantly remembering the why. And we talked about small steps. Then after you figure out your why factor, you start taking those small steps, one step at a time, because behavior change is a process. It cannot possibly be done in a second, in a day, in a moment. It absolutely is a process. And setting that expectation is probably the second most important thing after the why factor.
So I'm just thinking about things like intrinsic goals, extrinsic goals.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would like to. When I was overweight, I definitely wanted to look less unhealthy,
Mhm.
or let's say look better,
Mhm.
because I was really actually so ashamed of myself because I let myself go. But I looking good. I looked at it, and this is I'm just saying how I looked at it. Doesn't mean this is for
Mhm.
anybody else. I
Mhm.
looked at it of extrinsic thing, so that others would see me a certain way. But also, the intrinsic part for me, meaning what really drove me was I don't want to be sick.
Yep.
I don't want to be on, taking diabetes medication. I don't want to be on neuropathy meds. I don't want to be on
Mhm.
blood pressure meds. I don't want to, whatever goes along with it potentially in the future. So am I interpreting like if we have an intrinsic
We've got to
goal,
get to that.
this is going to drive us much more than I've got to fit into this suit or this dress for somebody's
It's
wedding.
the only thing. It's the only thing. This fitting in the suit, and just looking good. As long as you have more whys and more answers, that's not your ultimate why. Once you can't answer it anymore,
Okay.
then you
That
figure
that
it
makes
out.
a lot. Yeah, that really makes sense. I mean, and I've seen people, let's say just shrink down, fit in the dress, go to the wedding, boom, and then it might go back to normal after what they were previously.
Right.
So it wasn't necessarily a bad thing to have that goal, but it wasn't going to cause them to stick with it. So we got to get
Right.
to the why, and we don't ask more questions.
We get to the what? Really, I have to implore people to use a pen and paper for this. It just
Yeah.
doesn't work on an app. I have not seen it actually work well on an app. You have to write down and think about it. Really, 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 why do you want to work out? Why do you want to now make a shift and eat healthier?
Mhm.
And keep asking until you cannot answer anymore.
I think
That's
that's
step
great.
one. Yeah, that's
Yep.
step one. Step two is managing expectations. You cannot make such a huge change in one day. It's just impossible. You have to understand that you're probably going to relapse.
Thank you. Because it didn't get this way overnight, and we're not going to change it by tomorrow morning or
No.
next week.
And
Yeah.
we take one step forward, two steps back, and that's just life. I mean, if you look back for a moment at life, whatever got you here, it wasn't, a straight line, a straight diagonal line.
Mhm.
There's always setbacks, and that's just part of it. And it's
Yeah.
totally okay. And the negative self-talk that sometimes emerges out of the setbacks
Mhm.
is so harmful. It is so harmful, and it can actually really drive people to just give up.
I had a setback with a bag of potato chips the other night.
What'd you say to yourself about that?
Not much, because I finished them, so there were no more. So then I mean,
No,
the
but
thing is,
you didn't say, Karl, you're a bad person for eating the potato
no,
chips. Exactly.
I went to the Y. I worked out. I did my thing. I burned a lot of calories. I took a lot of steps. I lifted a lot of weight. So I mean, just had to. But it doesn't happen every day. It happens once in a while now. So it's okay though. I mean, Oh, how
Exactly.
about the Chris Sesta? We love you. Got to go to break in 20 seconds, but the cheesecake you brought in.
Oh God. Yeah.
Okay, I had 2 pieces. You know what though? Well, I'm okay. I'm okay. All right, we got to go to break already, honey. We'll be back with DCATS. Elizabeth Bruce is here. You haven't heard her yet, but she is here.
Hello.
Nyla, our producer, thank you. Your Health Matters, News Radio 570 WSOR. Be back in a couple minutes.
Are you ready to unlock your brain's full potential? Introducing the Brain Speed Ball, the revolutionary fun game designed to enhance balance, focus, memory, mental clarity, and cognitive performance. Whether you're looking to stay sharp, boost productivity, or slow down cognitive decline as you age, the Brain Speed Ball is the solution you've been waiting for. Through scientifically backed games, exercises, activities, and strategies, this program engages your mind, strengthens neural pathways, and helps you think clearer, faster, and smarter. Perfect for professionals, students, and anyone committed to lifelong mental fitness, the Brain Speed Ball helps you stay ahead in today's fast-paced world. Best of all, starting at approximately $30, it won't break the bank to take the first step toward a sharper, more vibrant mind. Visit karlsterling.com and go to the Sponsors tab today and discover how the Brain Speed Ball can help you achieve your mental best. That's karlsterling.com, Karl with a K. Brain Speed Ball, because a brighter mind means a brighter future.
No one is coming to save you, my friends. Nobody. Okay, we need to think about this. We're in control of ourselves. I would say, hopefully we are, at least most of us. So no one's coming to save you. Wow. That means you have to actually maybe grasp the idea. And I say this not in a shaming way. I never, never, never do I want you to feel bad. I just want you to really think about this. Like, I had a conversation this week that'll be aired sometime soon with Dr. Robert Lustig. He's like absolutely my favorite author's favorite researcher, favorite person to watch, listen to. And I worked 7 years to get him, and I finally got him the other day. On Tuesday, we spoke. As he says, big pharma, big food, big agriculture, Donald Trump, the government, and somebody else. They're not coming to your doctor. Your doctor's not coming to save you. Or maybe they'll offer something for you. Probably not the first ones. Maybe the government will come out with a good plan. I mean, they've got some things going on. They're trying to do. That would be really cool if it actually happens. I hope it does. Dr. Marty McCary sent me a note 2 days ago. He's the pick for FDA commissioner. And he told me he still can't talk because he's not nominated yet, not confirmed yet. But once he is, he's coming on the show. He has a lot to share about what's happening. Robert Lustig was great to talk with, and he will not talk about what's happening right now, even though he knows a lot, because he said it's pretty complicated. But you know what, though? It doesn't matter what anybody does, but it doesn't matter what you do. And we've been talking about this stuff for so long. Never, 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 please feel shamed. I'm not trying to guilt you. Hey, I have my moments, man. I had a bag of potato chips moment the other night. It won. But overall, I win. And you are going to have to do the work. You are going to have to save yourself. And here's what I mean by that. If your health is less than optimal, if your movement's less than optimal, well, maybe you haven't found the intrinsic reason, the intrinsic, why is it I know I need to get started. I know this, but I can't do it because I haven't found the reason. We have D. Katz with us, one of my favorite humans on the planet. She talked about asking why, pen and paper, until you can ask normal whys. And now we're talking about managing expectations. You didn't get this way overnight. We're not going to change it by tomorrow. How about these expectations, D? Because, I have a quick story. Probably 20 years ago, New Year's Day, went to the gym, started running on a treadmill, thinking this is it. Until I got running so fast for so long, I pulled my Achilles and I was out for 6 weeks. No bueno.
Do I get to tell a story too that's so similar to that?
Please do.
So I was a young trainer. I was 27 at the time, and I was, even though I had already been training people for 7 years, I was still, I had a little bit of an ego. And I was training at Washington Sports Club, and I will never forget this. This young man comes in and he wants to hire me as his trainer. And he says that he just got out of a marriage. He was just divorced. and he just wants to focus now on looking good. That's it. And then he said to me that if he's not in incredible pain the next day, if he's not like passed out in the locker room, then it wasn't a good workout. And I'm looking at him and I'm thinking that's not how I work. And I'm like, and he was like, and if it's not, it's just not a workout. So it's either this or not. And because of my age and my ego and all that, and there was also something hinting that like he doesn't know if this girl trainer can do the job. So very quickly he was in the bathroom throwing up, and I'm not proud of this moment.
No. No, please continue, because I have stories like this too. Go ahead. It happens.
Yeah, I'm not proud of this moment, but that's, I was flexing and I did that. He couldn't keep working out after that. Now, after that, for that day. But here's the bottom line. We could have reached his goals together if we took one step at a time. If we didn't, you don't get a 6-pack overnight. Absolutely not. And you shouldn't even think about the 6-pack. If I may say so, you can actually just think about, what do I need to do today that will benefit my health? I need to work out. I need to eat healthy, and one day after another, you'll start seeing the changes.
Yeah. Yeah. I had only 2 people ever I made throw up. Definitely was on purpose. Yeah, Eric Prager, if you're listening, remember the time I asked you to please just try to kill me? And then in 5 minutes, I was so exhausted and almost throwing up that I couldn't work out the rest of the hour. And I was so sore the next day, I could barely lift my arm to wash my hair. That's the last time I ever implored him to do that. And he's like, so Eric, I love you like a brother. You know that. So we have to manage these expectations. So we've got to go into this. And we didn't get one thing I find though, and tell me if you disagree, fine. But it seems to me, in my experience, that although we get to a particular state of being, wherever we are now, in whatever time it took, if we go about this methodically, figure out where we're at, what we can do, and then if we need help with somebody like yourself or me or Elizabeth, we can actually design a plan to get us back to where we were. But, that process usually happens faster than the process to get to where we are if we go about it the right way. Like we can get stronger and better balance faster than we lost our balance for a lot of us. I don't know. How do you look at that? The possibility seems to exist.
You're saying that we can regain what we've lost faster?
A lot of times I feel that that's the case. If we're focused, we take the proper step by step.
I think you're absolutely right, because of, first of all, muscle memory. And it actually goes back to those water beds that we're now flooding again. I'm also going to I just want to say one more thing, because the importance of learning and knowledge and educating yourself is huge. So I think if I would be talking about steps, step 3, right? If we have the why factor, and then if we have the managing expectations, step 3 would be, now that you realize why you're doing this and you managed your expectations and you're going into it, now really learn about it. Look at the research. See what good articles in journals that you respect are saying about this endeavor that you're on, because it will reinforce your everyday habit change.
You can see, because we're on Teams, so you can see us. We're both writing this down. You writing this down?
Yes, I am.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yep, it is.
Any thoughts? You haven't said 2 words because I hogged the microphone.
No, that's okay. I just know that it's hard to, like I was saying on the break to both of you, that you start working out, maybe you'll work out for 30 minutes or an hour or whatever the first day, whatever you do, but you expect the next day that you lose 4 or 5 pounds and nothing happens. But I was saying that what I feel is more, it's not even the weight loss, it's literally how I feel makes a difference. It's the more positive feeling, the more better outlook on the day or the, or life even sometimes. It really affects me emotionally and mentally than it does physically right away, except for the hurting of the muscles. But
Yeah, there's a lot. That's in our
I-
list for the second hour too. It's actually the mental.
yeah, I have to just say that you're absolutely right. I mean, other than the endorphins, I mean, exercise for the brain, absolutely 100% exercise for the brain. And, a lot of other things will follow.
Oh, totally. Hey, we're not out of time yet. I love that. Every minute
Perfect.
counts.
So I can keep chewing your ear off.
You have 2 more minutes as of right now that are yours. Go.
All right. So, okay, here we go. No pressure. So,
No pressure.
so going back to the steps that I was talking about, and I like looking at it. I like looking at it as steps because I find that it's just a little bit easier to handle. So we have basically multiple levels of influence, right? So we're talking about getting self-educated and learning and researching ourselves so that we can understand why we're doing it, and then it can really change our attitude and it can really change our motivation and skills. But there's also what we've already discussed. There's the interpersonal level, there's the social support, family, then there's the peer influence, like who do you go to work with, who do you surround yourself with, and cultural norms, let's not forget. And I'm just going to say that the next level is organizational and policy. And here is where I really get a little bugged a little, because what we should be doing as policymakers, okay, if we were policymakers, we should be making the healthy choice, the easiest choice for people. And that's not the case. So maybe we can make our house filled with easy choices somehow.
Well, you could stay with us for a little while into the next hour. Is that right?
I'm going to stay with you. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Dee. Okay. We are here at the studio live today with a very special guest who I've known for a couple of years, and we love her, Dee Katz. We're talking about exercise, the benefits of exercise, but behavior. What can get us going and how we're going to stick to it and not fall off in the future. We all have bad days, but hey, we got to keep working at it. So Elizabeth Bruce is here. Kyla is our producer. This is Your Health Matters, News Radio 570 WSYR. Check out the news at the top of the hour. We're coming back with another hour of stuff, folks. Can't wait to have you back here. See you soon. Are you ready to take your health and fitness to the next level in just minutes per day? I want to introduce you to the Power Plate. We have 5 Power Plates in my clinic, and it's a revolutionary fitness tool designed to transform lives and bodies. With its cutting-edge whole-body vibration technology, Power Plate activates warm muscles, increases circulation, and improves flexibility, all while reducing strain on your joints. So whether you're looking to build strength, boost endurance, or speed up recovery, Power Plate is the game changer you need. It's backed by scientific research. It delivers results quickly, making it the perfect solution for anyone from the elite athlete to the everyday fitness enthusiast. You can get a full body workout in just 15 minutes. So go to karlsterling.com, Karl with a K. Go to the sponsors tab, scroll down, click on Power Plate and check it out.
Bringing the latest in health and wellness so you can get to the other things that matter. Here's your host, Karl Sterling.
We've talked about this before, my friends. It's called the heart brain. I want to talk about the heart brain for a minute or two before we bring back our guest, Dee Katz. It is found that in the human heart, there are about 40,000 neurons called neurites. We've talked about it before. Okay, just 2 minutes here. You got to hear this. I learned more about this recently because neurites in the heart that form what they call the heart brain Well, they're wired up very much like a cerebellum or a brain. And it's followed, it is known now that when people, let's say, die of broken heart syndrome, classic example, a couple who a little over a year ago, the husband passed away right around Christmas time. 4 days later, his wife passed. She wasn't in that bad of health, but broken heart. It's called broken heart syndrome. This has happened. This can happen. And the reason I'm talking about it is because one of the things that I practice doesn't make me great, doesn't make me special. I'm just normal. I'm so just average. But really, what it is I've not been the nicest guy to deal with in certain situations over the decades, especially when I was a musician in certain bands I was with where I was just really impossible. I got fired once. And now he and I are friends, sort of. But I mean, the thing is I wasn't practicing empathy. I wasn't practicing. It was all about me. I was so important. I was very, very important to myself. I didn't want people to know that I thought that, so I tried to act not like that, even though they kind of, if they knew me well enough, they'd figure it out. I was so insecure. My ego was so big. I needed validation and attention. But guess what? I hurt people. I did other things when I was drinking. It hurt people. It hurt them bad. Made bad decisions. That hurts their hearts. That hurts the heart brain. It actually hurts the heart. So why am I saying this? Because these days I truly live with the intention of, let's say, sharing love for people and life. Love for life. Empathy, understanding, compassion. When we elicit these qualities, it really doesn't make us that special. But I tell you what it does do. It helps other people. When other people feel better, then other people feel better. It's a ripple effect. So if we can all get sharing and feeling, and maybe you're just opening a door for somebody, you're complimenting them, just an offhanded compliment, just something nice, the cashier, oh, I love your earrings, whatever. Just something. A little compliment can go a long ways. You never know what somebody's dealing with. Maybe they just lost a loved one. Maybe they're on the way to thinking of committing suicide. I'm not even kidding about this. There are stories about this. Okay, you can help somebody by doing a random act of kindness. Don't ever expect anything in return either, because that's not how it works. You do it from your heart. You are going to help other people's hearts and heart brains so that they don't get into this feeling of another PTSD experience where somebody treated them like dirt, and it reminds us of something they went through in their, marriage or upbringing or whatever. And no, do something nice. That's all I wanted to say about that. We're with D Cats, and D, we got so much to talk about today because we left off with this subject of organization and policy. So we started off about finding our why to stick with our behaviors to, let's say, engage in a healthier lifestyle. Okay. Managing our expectations, learning about what we're doing. I love that because we can educate, and then that's great. Of course, who we surround ourselves, that's very important. If I'm a drinker and I hang out with a bunch of drinkers, I can tell you right now, I'm not going to drink, but it's not going to be good for me either. So I choose different people. Organization and policy. Let's dig into that.
I have a real itch when I think about the fact that there are deserts in terms of areas that don't have easy access to health. So it's not really a desert, right? Throughout the United States, there are places that have plenty of I guess, Subways and Taco Bell and 7-Elevens and things like that. But to me, that's a nutritional desert because how much does an apple? I don't actually know this. I'm literally asking, how much is an apple at a 7-Eleven? It's pretty expensive, isn't it? Do they have them? I think they have like sliced apples.
They probably
Probably
do.
do.
They're probably $2 or $3 for an apple at least. And I know that I saw a banana for $2 somewhere in a recent travel.
There you go.
One
There you
banana,
go.
two.
Right. And so if I don't have those kinds of funds, or I also have to feed my children, I'm definitely going to go for the whatever I can afford and the calories to get them, to get the calories into them.
Right.
That's a food desert as far as I'm concerned. And it's a policy thing. I really, really, truly believe that making health and healthy choices easy and accessible is the most important thing that policymakers should be focused on in terms of this.
I'm definitely on board with you there. Yeah, that's I know that's the consensus, and the effort actually is going into that from certain people out there who are advocating. Some really great people we've had on the show too, like Dr. Casey Means, Dr. Marty McCary, Dr. Dominic D'Agostino, other ones. I mean, this is very important because I don't know how it is over there in Tel Aviv, but over here, it's harder to find the healthy stuff, especially if you're in a hurry. It's harder to find that.
Yep. And here in Israel, there's Tel Aviv has access, but there's plenty of periphery that doesn't.
Sure.
Yep.
Wow. Just it made me think of something, and of course I forgot what it was because my head is spinning with ideas right now. Do you know me really well? Can you read my mind and let me know, like, what was I thinking?
Now the cost of food is really going up here. All food. It's getting hard to eat cheap even. I mean, I shouldn't say cheaply, but I mean
affordably.
Yep.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, even eggs are up to, what is it?
$6.
$6 for a dozen. I mean, that's a lot of money.
I mean, subsidizing and helping the farmers is the way to go, I think.
We have to go to break. I'm sorry to interrupt. We're going to go to break. When we come back, I'm going to be quieter. Okay. You're listening to Your Health Matters, News Radio 570 WSYR. We'll be back after this break.
Are you looking for a way to boost your mental clarity, sharpen your focus, and support brain health? I want to introduce you to a product I've been taking for well over a year, and that is the Dr. Lewis Daily Brain Care Formula, an all-natural solution designed to help you unlock your brain's full potential. It's packed with ingredients proven to enhance memory, support cognitive function, and protect against mental decline. So whether you're looking to stay sharp at the office, improve your concentration, or just looking to keep your mind active as you age, this formula is for you. It's backed by science, it's trusted by thousands, and it's never been easier to nourish your mind from the inside out. Don't wait to take control over your brain health. Get the clarity and focus you deserve today with the Dr. Lewis Daily Brain Care Formula. Go to karlsterling.com. That's Karl with a K. Go to the sponsors tab, scroll down, click, and check it out.
I have another story, folks. I have a lot of stories. See if I can get 2 stories out in 90 seconds. I got to pick the second one, though, because I wrote a list of stories today. And the reason I write stories is because I want you to think about maybe if you're stuck in getting motivated to get started moving and living better, eating better, things like that, you're not alone. There's so many people there with you. And our guest today, Dee Katz, talked about these food deserts. It's not as easy to get healthy food sometimes. Well, let's talk about the motivation of actually just getting moving. All right. Let's talk about Laura. Laura is a dear friend. I met, it's going to be 6 years ago, mid-May, Austin, Texas, Parkinson's workshop. She comes up to me on a break. with her husband. And I'm looking, thinking, oh, she must be like a physical therapist or a trainer, and he's with her. She doesn't have Parkinson's. Well, no, it turns out she has Parkinson's. She lives with Parkinson's. At this point, she's 11 years diagnosed, but had years of symptoms before diagnosis. I have to tell you that once I met her and the group met her, it really changed a lot of how we think. You know, we had Russ Parker was with us.
Mhm.
He was teaching with me. He was on my teaching team. All I want to say about this is we've had her on the show a couple of times. We're going to have her again soon. And this amazing person, she just gets moving because she is going to fight back and defy Parkinson's. Period. She is going to win. She's going to win against Parkinson's for as long as she can. And the only way she's going to do it is by fighting back and fighting hard. She was also the person who taught me about live now. Her words are just live. Don't just worry about other stuff. Don't just worry about this. Don't just whatever. Just live. So, Laura, if you happen to hear this, you know, we love you. You're amazing. And thank you for the inspiration, because I don't have Parkinson's and I don't go out and run an hour a day like you do. I don't work out for an hour or two at a time like you do. You are the inspiration for so many. She's very well known around the world, especially in the Hispanic community. And she's on a WPC, doing a lot of stuff with Work with Parkinson Congress and the Davis Finney Foundation. But she is a living, breathing proof of somebody who is actually, I'm going to say, reversing symptoms of Parkinson's. Because just recently I found out a couple months ago, her doctor got to reduce her dopamine replacement medications.
Awesome.
You know why? She's creating so much. She doesn't need as much as she had. So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because a lot of us don't have diagnosis and we're still not moving. Don't wait for a diagnosis to get your butt off the couch and get moving. Okay? Do it now.
Might
Be
prevent
preventative.
one.
Take action. Huh?
You might prevent a diagnosis.
Absolutely. Okay, Dee, we're back. Thank you for staying with us.
I love these stories. I love them.
You know, I do too. And these are people I'll think about. I bet you have Laura and Maria Celinda and, Dominic and all these other people lived here in the snow. They'd be shoveling the snow. You know why? Because they can. So they will, because it'll fight they're going to fight back no matter what. I'm going to do it because I defy Parkinson's or whatever. We talked about, I have this list that I sent you and both of us here, three of us. We talked about this enhancing neuroplasticity. We had neural pathways when we get into regularly doing a different routine. So maybe it's just one thing per day we're doing, and then maybe a week, 2 months later, at some point we adopt another second thing. Pretty soon, it's a year later, we've got a whole new routine, and we may have already changed our health. We know that exercise can help improve memory, cognition, and learning. It boosts cognitive function. It reduces the risk of dementia and Alzheimer's, and enhances, you were saying, Elizabeth, right? Mood,
Yep.
how you feel, mental health, reduces stress and excess cortisol levels. It can help you improve sleep, enhance focus and attention, and even boost creativity and cognitive flexibility. I love it. Dee, I want you to chime in on this. What are some experiences you've had, or how do you, because you conveyed all this stuff to people so well in Bodyholic and your online training program, which, by the way, everybody should go out and subscribe. Let's talk about this stuff.
Let's talk about, basically, I think that the list you just provided, it's what it essentially is showing us is how working out is basically a delivery. It creates a delivery system for the brain, right? Because we're getting everything pumping. We're getting our heart rate way up. We're pumping more blood throughout the body, including the brain. And this increased blood flow just delivers a surge of oxygen and nutrients and essential nutrients to the brain cells. And those hardworking neurons are getting, everything they need because you worked out.
Yes.
He's got his
Thank
arms
you.
up in the air, folks.
My arms are in the air. I'm shaking them like I just don't care, but I actually do care because she just said what I preach all the time. And nobody wants to hear from me. You hear it every week. Hear from somebody else. Hear from a true expert out there. I mean, this is true. All the science behind this it's real. We get
It's very
blood oxygen to the brain. We get neurochemicals created in the brain. We get brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is like miracle growth for the brain. It helps to slow cellular death, maintain cellular integrity, functionality, lifespan, health span. I mean, the what do you call those other things? Endorphins. So we get our things going. Our body and our brain are like our own pharmacy.
Totally.
Dr. Chopra talks about this 30 years ago in one of his books about your body and your brain have the drugs you need almost all the time if you can learn how to create them. Exercise is one of the great ways to do it.
Yes. That's unlocking that pharmacy.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love that. So you'll sleep better. A lot of people have sleep problems. By the way, if you have sleep problems for real and you're really having trouble, I can probably help you with one visit to my clinic. When you get out of there, you're going to probably sleep better. Okay? I got some tricks up my sleeve. None of them are medicines, pills, supplements, nothing. But I help a lot of people with that. Oh, by the way, it's karlsterling.com, Karl with a K, if you need to reach me for any reason. How about other things like reducing the risk of a stroke? Our circulation will improve all throughout our body.
Mm-hmm.
Our heart is a muscle, right? So our heart is a muscle and it's an organ.
Yep.
It's our vital, without that, we're not going to be here.
Right.
And how about how is it over in Israel? I'm just curious with, let's say, let me just say this. For civilized nations in the world, it is said that, the data says we have more obesity and overweight here and type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance than any civilized country in the world. What's it like in Israel?
It's not as extreme as in the United States.
And you lived here for years, right? You were here for quite a while.
Yep. Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Not like, no, you were here.
Right. Absolutely. And that's actually we're kind of in competition with you over here in Israel. It's Israel's like a mini America.
Okay.
A little bit. So, and it's like I was saying before in the social periphery. So they could be really close to where I am, Tel Aviv, which I guess would be the equivalent of New York City. It's when there isn't enough access to funding, there is a problem. And type 2 diabetes in these communities is surging.
Yeah. Well, exercise can help us to, let's say, regulate blood sugar or insulin. And, we know all this, right? I mean, we've had some of the leading researchers, scientists, medical people on the show, and we already know this. So that's why I don't want to really go over this too much, the benefits, although it's nice to mention them. Because we already know we should be doing these things. And why I have Dee with us today, she'll help us get to the why behind it. So far we've outlined, let me find my thing here. Okay. The why factor, right? 30 seconds till break. Okay. So the why factor, ask yourself why and get to the point where you're done asking the whys and you actually found the root. Okay. We got the managing your expectations. Don't expect yourself to get fit overnight, right? Learn about the things you're doing. And then, we talked about organization and policy. We're coming up, bottom of the hour break. We got to head out right now. Your Health Matters, News Radio 570 WSYR. See you on the other side.
Are you ready to take control of your health and feel your best? At NeuroMotor Training, we specialize in helping you move better, think sharper, and stay independent for life. Our unique programs are designed to reduce your risk of falls, improve movement and mobility, boost memory and cognition, and enhance fine motor and multitasking skills. And here's the best part. We're the only clinic with a program proven to reverse osteoporosis with our state-of-the-art biodensity machine. Imagine stronger bones and a more confident you. At NeuroMotor Training, your health and independence are our top priorities. Visit us at karlsterling.com or call 315-935-7488 to schedule your first session. That's 315-935-7488. Don't wait to take the next step toward a healthier, happier you. NeuroMotor Training, where better health begins.
Okay, folks, we're going to dive right in because Dee Katz, our special guest today, the creator of the brand, the modality, the bodyholic, if you will. She's with us from Tel Aviv. By the way, I've been getting quite a few messages here on how much people are enjoying this show. So kudos to you.
Actually,
I knew they would.
kudos to you, but thank you.
No, I'm just a normal guy. I just talk. Laura says, thank you. And you caused me to find hope again. Oh, Laura, you are the reason so many find hope. So thank you, my friend. I'll tell you, I've been with her in these situations where we're teaching, and she outworkouts everybody. Like, we can't keep up with that girl. But bravo. We need to keep doing that. Dee, this is your last segment with us. I think you said you got to cut out on the next break, right? You got young and
need me.
Hey, no sweat. I'm so glad you could stay. Now, let's dig in. You have some thoughts to share, please.
I do, because on the break, Elizabeth and I were chatting, and I said, well, there are actually a few more steps if I were working with someone to change their health behavior. So after I would try to make the healthy choice the easiest choice. And maybe it's not possible, but we're going to do our best to make that possible, even if policy doesn't allow for it at that point. Mm-hmm. The next thing I think would be self-efficacy. And I think self-efficacy is absolutely critical. Let me just explain what it is. It's the belief in one's ability to succeed in a specific situation or accomplish a task. And this is a powerful predictor of behavior change. So it's you understanding that you can do this, basically. So self-efficacy. That's the next step, I think. And believing that you can do it.
That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
I can really relate to that one in a lot of areas of my life too. Fortunately, these days, I feel limitless. I really do. It's not because I'm great. It's not because I'm special. It's just because I actually believe in me and I know who I am really well now. Like I've never been more comfortable in my own skin. I mean, thank you, God, for that, for allowing me to find myself and actually feel this way. I'm always looking to grow, though. It's not like I've arrived,
Mm-hmm.
I'm dying in my deathbed. I'm not ever going to really be there because it's a journey.
Right.
But do you have any advice about, let's say, for people who feel, oh, well, I just can't.
Yes.
I can't do that. I can't do that. But yet other people do, who maybe were worse off than they were for however. And what do you do?
There's actually two things that are huge drivers for the self-efficacy, and one is the mastery of experiences. So even if you look at a baby, right, the baby's going to take one step and then fall, but he now learned that he can take a step. So he's already on his way to mastering this. This is one successful attempt to walk. And then, but it's an attempt. All you need for self-efficacy is successful attempts. You don't have to actually be successful. You just succeed in attempting over and over and over again. So then the baby takes 3 more steps and falls. That's fantastic. That's a successful attempt. And that's what it is. That's mastery, is just a bunch of successful attempts. And the other thing, and that's what you just said, vicarious experiences are really important as well. So you were talking about someone seeing another person succeed and reach levels that maybe surpass that person, and they were worst off before. You were mentioning that, and actually that's really helpful. And you talk about providing hope and giving hope. Vicarious experiences are really important, because when someone looks at someone else and says, hey, why can't I do that? If that person did, I can totally do that. That's another driver of self-efficacy. Yep.
That's so powerful. I mean, so let me go to the other side for a minute, though. Let's go to the dark side. I've seen this here and there where, let's say there's a person who looks at somebody who is succeeding and they say, I'll never be able to do that. Versus, and this actually, here's where this is, I've seen this happen very seldom, but once in a while, group situation, group class. You got a person with maybe 15 people living with a movement disorder. Let's just say it's all Parkinson's. I mean, I've had these situations around the world teaching. You got the one who looks at the person in the wheelchair who can't really get up anymore and says, oh my gosh, that's me in a few years. And they're like, they're out, they're done. Well, they might stay, but they're gone. They're like, that's it. I see my future. Versus they look at a different person who's doing other things that they can't do and saying, oh, that's going to be me. Then you got the person in the wheelchair who could be, because I've had this happen, or the walker or whatever, looking, say, I'm going to be both of them because that one's doing great, that one's doing great. And then next thing you know, it's 2 days later and they're out of the wheelchair. We've had this happen, people. We've had people get out of wheelchairs, start walking with a walker, with a cane. So it really is an interesting thing. If we can, I guess we have to find the right inspiration, don't we?
I think it really has to be that mastery, the successful attempts, as well as the vicarious experience. And what you're talking about is really important. What you're actually describing, you have to highlight the similarities between the person who's looking and the person who's doing. If there is no similarity, then it's not going to work, right? The vicarious experience, it's just not going to work. That's completely disconnected from the person who's looking from the outside. I'm doing that with air quotes. That also brings me, I don't know if I have a few more seconds, but
you do. Yeah.
Okay.
2 minutes, 44 seconds.
Because I'm going to say that coping models, I have talked about this many times, the hustle mindset, the growth mindset, the resilience, basically, which is my favorite word in the world. It's about the looking, and you were mentioning it actually in the very, very beginning of today's conversation, looking at the challenge as an opportunity. I'm going to grow from this challenge. This is great. I'm going to get stronger.
Yeah. So we have this little signal we do, because I'm on video we're on video, and I gave her the break sign. We actually have 2 minutes though, not one. I just want you to keep going. We have 2 minutes, and I love what you just said. Yeah, I think it's real important to maybe look at opportunities, look at it from that point of view, because it seems like it could always be worse for most of us. Like I could be worse off. Somebody could be worse off, or somebody is worse off. So I have to count my blessings.
That's one way to look at it. But I actually have this tendency to look at the challenge like dead in the eye. And that's the hustle mindset. It's like, of course, it's like looking at the weight and the weight's saying, you can't lift me. And it's, I'm gonna lift you. I'm definitely gonna lift you.
There you go.
We're gonna try this tomorrow.
Okay. Go
Okay.
ahead.
The radio minutes are the fastest minutes of my life, but these have been the best radio minutes. I have enjoyed so very much having you here. There's so much positive feedback already today. I can't thank you enough. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Really.
Do it again with us someday soon.
Oh my God. Please.
Yeah, you could be the new voice of Your Health Matters.
We'll give
Don't
it a
worry, you're
shot.
not getting replaced.
Yeah, that's nice to know.
What you have to offer, you're a gem. You're a one of a kind. I'm so lucky to know you, and thank you.
I feel the same way. Thank you both for having me. Thank you.
And we will. Okay, you're cutting out. We've got to go to break, and you and I'll be touched later. I'll shoot you an email after the show is done. But everybody, thanks so much for listening. We'll be back for one more segment. Elizabeth and me. This is Your Health Matters. See you in a couple of minutes.
Are you ready to strengthen your body, improve your bone density, and take control of your health? Meet biodensity, the revolutionary technology that transforms the way we build strength and fight against bone loss. With just one session a week, biodensity helps you safely apply high levels of force to your bones and muscles, stimulating natural growth and improvement. It's scientifically backed, non-invasive system proven to increase bone density, build type 2 muscle fibers, lower A1C, and reduce fall risks. Whether you're recovering from an injury, managing osteoporosis, or simply looking to maintain a strong, healthy body, biodensity is for you. Best of all, it's quick, efficient, and perfect for people of all fitness levels. Don't let age or health concerns hold you back. Experience the difference biodensity can make in your life. Visit karlsterling.com and go to the sponsors tab to learn more and schedule your session today. That's karlsterling.com. Biodensity, because stronger bones means a stronger you.
Maria Celinda lives in San Luis Potosi. That's not her full name, but that's her first name, Maria Celinda. She walked into a clinic where I was working for a week. It's in a physical therapy clinic doing a lot of testing of some new insoles that were on the market at the time, which I carry in my clinic called Naboso insoles. They're textured. She comes in, lives with Parkinson's, dyskinesia, dystonia, all of it. And she had what we call toe extensions. So she couldn't flex her toes down to dig them into the floor because the top of her foot muscles were so tight. Those are your extensors. When you dig your toes down to the floor, those are your flexors, your toe flexors. So the whole week I'd been people with Parkinson's. I think we had about 60, 70 people through in a week. What we're doing is have them walk with normal footwear, walk outdoors, did a anterior, posterior video view, and then a lateral view, side view on a treadmill, looking at stride length, stride symmetry, velocity, arm swing, posture. Well, everybody improved when we put in the insoles, first of all, but we'll talk about that another time. Maria Celinda put in the insoles immediately. And by the way, they didn't know what to expect. We didn't say this should make you walk better. We don't want them to live into that. She gets on the treadmill, she starts walking and did a lot better. And her feet her toes started to come down. Now I couldn't see it, but she described that to us. 2 days later, and I gave her the insoles. I said, you keep these. 2 days later, I'm teaching a workshop. We have, probably like 70, 80 people there. She comes in walking. Now, listen here, though. When she walked into the clinic on the Friday, she was walking with a walker and her son holding her arm. But she walked in 2 days later to the workshop. She was walking with no walker, no cane, no help from anybody. You wouldn't even know anything was wrong. So she turns around, walks back on the other side of this thing, and then she starts running. She felt so good she started running. So there's more than just the nerves and the plantar skin waking up here, folks. Because when you walk around barefoot, which I highly suggest you do unless you have open sores or something like that, don't get an infection, but walk around barefoot, whether you like it or not, believe it or not, is actually kind of irrelevant. You should just do it on a surface where you're not going to get cut, your carpet, the floor, whatever. If you're listening and there's no snow on the ground, it's warm enough, walk outside, maybe on grass, dirt, don't hurt yourself. Waking up the plantar skin is really good for sensory input to the brain, so you get an immediate response from the brain as output to help stabilize you, make you feel more secure and safe and more balanced. This is going to help you move better. Okay, so I got these insoles in her shoes, which are basically to stimulate better movement. So she's running, and then she's running and running. We had to start the workshop, and we couldn't get her in because she was so excited. She's running. And she finally comes over and stops. And there's a video of this online. I'll post it on my website today, front page later, so you can look. And you're going to see that she's crying in this video. Well, I was holding the camera, and she goes up to see our friend Jeanette, and her son is there, and this other guy, and me, and we're all crying. You know why? It's the first time she had run in 15 years. 2 days before was the first time she walked semi-normal in many, many years. Okay, but it doesn't end there, folks. It's 6 weeks later, I'm flying to San Francisco. I get off the plane. I get a message with a video attached, and it's from her. Guess what? She has a PhD. She's a chemistry professor at a university. She hadn't been working because she couldn't walk. But guess what? This is mid-August. College started in San Luis Potosi. I get a video of her in her lab coat, walking in the lab, holding a hot cup of coffee. She's back to work. You want to talk about hope? You want to talk about possibility? It was much more than the insoles. It was realizing that there are many times things we can do to cause ourselves to move better, perform better, live better, feel better. And that's what we're here for. So when I see her every time I go there. She and her husband come to the workshop wherever I do. And, it's great to see her walking around. She has struggles. She has bad days. Some days she needs a cane. But she's still moving well, and this is 7 years later. So I really like that story because she went back to work.
Beautiful.
You don't know what you don't know, folks. You might think, oh gosh, this Karl guy, he's full of bunk because he thinks he's going to fix my problems with insoles. Well, I will tell you this. I got them. They're $55 a pair, but you can go online and buy them too for $80. That's up to you. But I have them for cheaper. I can help you trim them. Get them in your shoes. I got probably 20 pairs left or something like that. We have Power Plate. They're a sponsor of the show. This vibration technology goes up to 50 vibes per second, and it helps us to stimulate the activation of more muscles, burn more calories, burn fat, improve circulation, wake up your nerves, and assist with muscle recovery. We have a lot of things we do at our clinic. I'm not taking any more clients at this point, and there's some when I'm done, when they're through their packages, we won't be renewing because of time. But Elizabeth, you have time for maybe 2 more people or 3 at the most biodensity?
Yes.
Yeah, that's been great. Eh?
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
If you have osteoporosis, osteopenia, and you want to reverse it, we can never guarantee anything, but I can tell you this. We've had countless people come in now after doing it, let's say 6 to 9 months, twice a week, maybe once a week, some of them. And I mean, we had somebody else a couple of weeks ago, 10% more bone mass. They only been doing it since May, once a week.
Yes.
Yeah, 10%.
Another lady who's in there, 84. She's been doing it for over a year.
Yeah.
At least over a year.
Yeah.
She saw no improvement, but it was not less. So she's like, I'm going to continue doing it.
Then another 85-year-old, 10% more bone mass.
Yep.
Oh, we got the music, folks. D Katz was our guest today. If you go to Bodyholic, just the way it sounds, bodyholic.fit, you can find her brand. She's amazing. She's going to come back. We got to have her back. Let's real quick here. Find your why, manage your expectations, learn about the things you're doing. And remember, you can do it. Mastery of expectations. Successful attempts are going to change everything for you in developing these new habits. We're out, folks. This is Your Health Matters News Radio 570 WSYR. We'll see you next week for another episode. Take care.
The proceeding was a paid program by Karl Sterling. The content of this show is that of Karl Sterling and does not represent the views of the station or iHeartMedia. Some of the information contained